Hwaseong is one of the tourist destinations in South Korea that attracts many visitors, known for its historical buildings from the dynasty era as well as other fascinating structures. However, behind these popular tourist attractions lies a shocking tragedy that once shook the entire nation of South Korea. Today, I want to share a real and chilling story from South Korea, a true crime case that haunted the country for more than 13 years. It's known as the Hwaseong serial murder, one of the most infamous and tragic cases in Korean history. Between 1986 and 1991, in a quiet rural town called Hwaseong, 10 women were brutally raped and murdered. The victims were between 13 and 70 years old, and the criminals all followed a disturbing pattern. Most of the women were found struggling using their own clothes, such as stockings or underwears. Some of the bodies were left in fields and near roads. The police quickly realized that this was the work of a serial killer. People in the area became terrified. The police launched what was, at that time, the biggest criminal investigation in Korean history. Over 2 million police man-hours were spent, and more than 21,000 suspects were investigated, and DNA samples were taken. The pressure was intense, but despite all these efforts, the killer was never caught. In 1989, police arrested a man named Hwaseong for the 8 murders. He was a young man with a mental disability. Under pressure, he confessed, but later revealed that his confession was made under police torture. Later, it was proved that he was completely innocent. The case remained cold for decades, but finally, in 2019, police decided to retest all evidence using modern DNA technology, which had improved a lot over the years. This time, they got a match. The DNA belonged to Lee Chun-jae, a man who was already in prison for rape and murder of his sister-in-law. He confessed not only to the 10 Hwaseong murders, but to 14 murders in total and more than 30 rapes. What shocked people even more was Lee's attitude. He confessed with no emotion, and he even smiled during some of the interview. Unfortunately, because of the statute of limitation at the time, he could not be legally punished for most of the murders he committed. However, the case was finally closed and the truth was revealed after more than 30 years. The impact of this case was massive. The statute of limitations for murder was removed, and criminal profiling and forensic science were strict. The Hwaseong murder also inspired many Korean drama and films. The most famous is Memories of Murder, which directed by Bong Joon-ho, which tells the story of detectives trying to catch a killer but failing. Also reflect elements of the Hwaseong case and show how difficult it was to solve. In the end, this case is a reminder that justice can be delayed, but the truth has a way of coming out. And even though it took over 3 decades, the voice of the victims were finally heard. That's all for me about the murder case at Hwaseong. Thank you so much.